What is going on, guys? I am Paul Ryan, your host of the Across the Cowboys podcast. This podcast is part of the Across the Board Sports podcast family. If you're new to the show, thank you for joining us. And to our regular listeners, welcome back. With me, as always, is my co-host, the greatest co-host in the world, Mike the Pig Crum. Mike, how are you?
Greatest. I got greatest today. I thought for sure I was getting the loneliest co-host in the world. Valentine's Day, alone during a Cowboys podcast. Yes, that is my life. Fun.
I thought about saying the buffest, Mike, because of a pre-roll. You know, you're flexing on me.
Well, for me, like I'm not very buff, but I'm my arms have always been scrawny. So when I did that, I was like, oh dang, there's still a lot of fat around them, but I can see muscle in there. So the Bowflex is working. I don't want to do it though because, like you said, I'm pale. It's been cold. I've been in hoodies, but I start tomorrow practicing basketball. I'm very terrible at it now, but I will be out there playing and being the worst player on the court for the next few months until football season's back and it gets cold again. And so I'll get a tan, and then I still won't flex because like it's not a. I don't have muscle. It's just comparatively to how scrawny I was before. Since I got the Bowflex, at least now there is a muscle in there. It's not just like pathetic. So
you got to work on that Kareem skyhook, right?
I'm a Kevin Willis jump hook guy, not the sky. I can shoot the skyhook, but it's hit and miss. I could be on some days and be like off the side of the backboard others. So I like the Kevin Willis jump hook. That's my go-to.
You know, I'm not real familiar with Kevin Willis. Is he another Laker great?
No, Atlanta Hawks. He back when I studied him, I would do an hour a day of going in slow motion, doing his footwork for his jump hook. And I would never shoot. I would just move my feet like he moved his feet. And then when you have a wide body like I did back then, you just go over and boop. Oh, there's the arms. Scrawny white arms. You do the jump hook and and I just got really good at it. It's hard to block. And then, I developed all my post moves off that jump hook. So Kevin Willis, not a Hall of Famer or anything like that, but he had the greatest jump hook of all time. And now so many people use it. It's funny that, nobody realizes it kind of really, he was probably the best at it as not a star player, but if he got it in there, it was just crazy good how he did it.
You know, my signature move playing basketball when we'd have the 2 versus 2 was the Hakeem dream shake, the fadeaway.
Oh, you could do the fade. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, that's tough. A fadeaway.
It's a hard shot, dude.
Yeah. I'd say if I had a signature, it'd be I'd go in the post and the cutter would come and I'd make like I was going to do my hook and I'd drop it behind my back right as the cutter's coming. And my guy, of course, is going for the hook shot. So you lean just enough to where I can drop it right behind you to the cutter going through. Layup. That would be probably what I was known most for is that pass out of the post.
You know, you're talking about how you just studied his footwork. It's crazy how much the muscle memory can be effective.
Yeah, even at this point, like my legs just don't work. Like I was really good back in the day, like one of the first ones picked, like dominant. We would just play and kill people because not a lot of people could play in the post with me. I was big enough to overwhelm small guys, but I had good enough footwork that if a guy was as big as me, I could go around him enough, but I have no legs and I have no like jump on them anymore. I'm just really bad out there, but that hook, if I get the right person on me, jump hook's going up and it's going in, and that's all muscle memory.
It's a good feeling knowing that, like, when you're playing against somebody who would be considered like inferior, when you just kind of dominate them all game.
Yeah, it's weird to play because there's a new set of people. They come to my house because I have the glass backboard court, but it's a new set of people, so they kind of only know me as like the shitty version. And so you know how it is when you're like the worst guy out there. Nobody wants to give you the ball, and so I'm sitting there going, "No, you don't understand. Just get against this guy. Look who they put on me. Just give me the ball every time." And it's like I will either get you an open shot because I'll make up double team, or I'll kill this guy. But it's hard to. These guys are young. They shoot threes. I'm not a 3-point shooter. Like, it's a new game now. They're more isolation. Like, I come over to set screens. No, what are you doing over here? Like, hey, you're taking up my. They have no clue. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's just a different game, and I'm not built for it. Like, I'm not built for the game that the kids play when they come over. So I just go out there and try to break a sweat and get some exercise and try not to cost my team the game. That's basically it. Where they're not like, God, we're stuck with this guy. You don't want to be that guy. That's like the worst feeling.
One thing I learned playing with these younger kids, it's that the fundamentals aren't important to them, and you can beat them with that.
When we win, it's because I figure out, like, okay, I can guard, a strategy. Like, I could take away this person, even though I can't move my feet really well, or he can't shoot. So we'll leave him, and I'll lean off and like trap other ways, and then just getting the right matchup off a screen. If I can go to a person and go, I'm going to set you this screen and make them switch. And then the minute they switch, you attack the guy who's on you. He's not going to be able to stay with you. If I can get that type of like matchup, very hard to win. When we lose, it's typically because I can't guard those fast guards. I'm like, please just miss the three, because I'm not trying to get embarrassed out here.
Yeah, I hear you, Mike. Well, another thing we were talking pre-roll was the latest Cowboys a hype video, if you want to call it that. I know you had some kind words for it there on Twitter. Let the people know where they can find you there.
Just like on the screen, if you're watching with us, at CD Piglet, nice and easy. Letter C, letter D, Piglet.
Guys, I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. Well, Mike, typically this is the part where we discuss Meatless Monday. However, we know the Super Bowl is a party, and with any good party comes good food, Mike. So instead of Meatless Monday, we thought it'd be cool for you and I to discuss what we ate during the Super Bowl. Mike, so talk to me. What was on your Super Bowl spread?
The best thing about it is I didn't have to cook anything.
Oh, seriously?
I didn't make one damn thing. It was awesome.
No bacon wrap dates this week or this weekend?
None. I knew for about a week that I wasn't going to have to cook. My brother and his girl, Mon, were making the food. My mom ordered some Mr. Pickles, so we had that. And Mr. Pickles is a deli sandwich shop that's really good. I don't know if it's anywhere else, but it's here in Fresno, and it's amazing. So she got a catering tray, and I was over, she's a little bit older. I help her with the groceries and stuff like that. Also, she helps me. Like, I'm broke, so she'll pay for some groceries, which is awesome. I'll take in all your groceries. Any of y'all in Fresno, you need somebody to take in your groceries, and you're going to pay for some of mine? Exchange met. I'm in.
Right.
So I was over there, and my brother and his girl are waiting for they're building in this condo area. It's not open yet. They're building the facility, and so they're staying out there by my mom's, waiting for that. So I found out about the Mr. Pickles, catering, and I told him, I'm like, that's cool. I love Mr. Pickles, but it's like a waste of. Like, they have you two here, two badass executive chefs. You're not going to make anything for the Super Bowl? Like, that's kind of weak. And they were like, no, we'll make stuff. So my brother did ribs, chicken sandwiches that they cooked the chicken thighs on kebabs then put them on a bun with the Asian slaw. That was amazing. They did bacon and potato wedges, chips and guac, jalapeno peppers wrapped in bacon. So, I mean, I ate
too much, right?
Yeah, I really need to get on my stuff. Like, I'm glad basketball's coming, because I legitimately need to put off 15 pounds. Mm-hmm. Legit. Like, I need to do it.
Hey, that happens to all of us every holiday season, sir.
Yes, I know. It's going too long now. Typically, by the time I get to the first week of January, I'm starting in on my stuff. I'm going through my cleanse, and I'm starting to get going, but just with work and with the, trying to keep up on Cowboys stuff and everything like that, it's just, I'll get on it, but man, I've been slacking. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, Michael, we didn't get too wild here at the Ryan household. I just ended up making some chips and dip, And one dip it's called a boat dip, and what it is, it's just like sour cream with Rotel taco seasoning and shredded cheddar cheese. It reminds me of like the early 90s, something that you would eat early in the early 90s. Just had that with tortilla chips. Has a lot of flavor, but it's like I don't know. I feel like it's missing something. Maybe some green onion or something would kind of really complement it. And then I had some homemade onion dip, but really it was just like a little package of like dehydrated onion mix and again some sour cream. Served that with some Ruffles, and then probably the best dip of the day was Millionaire Dip, which it kind of reminded me of what you would put inside a loaded baked potato. You know, it had cream cheese, sour cream, green onion, fresh cut bacon, and cheddar cheese. Served that with some rich crackers. Oh, we also had some fruit and celery and carrot sticks. So pretty light fare, but a good variety.
Bro, you had dip?
Yeah, we didn't get too crazy because it was just me, my wife, my son, and then my nephew, and then her parents. So, you know, we were like, what do we want to make? Because we thought about, I thought my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law were going to come over. So we were thinking have the appetizers and then maybe order some Chinese food or something, or, you know, maybe throw something on the grill. But they didn't end up coming over, and it was just only 5 of us. And we're like, well, you know, we're not going to get too crazy. And after everybody ate that, nobody was really hungry. So we just kind of kept it light.
Let's just never discuss this again. I'm so disappointed in you, Paul. I will say 2 years ago, it was me and my brother, because my dad went to Matt's to eat. Obviously, he's a chef and everything. Me and my brother only at the Super Bowl. We made bacon wrapped dates. We had guacamole and chips.
Yeah.
We had chili. We made hot dogs, hamburgers, tater tots to put the chili on. And oh man, I'm forgetting like a pizza dip or something like that was up.
Mm-hmm.
That was for 2 people. This is the Super Bowl. I don't want to hear how many people were there. Unload and just cook crazy, amazing things, and then worry about the consequences later.
Well, you know, Mike, if you're feeling like you got to lose 15 pounds, I need to at least lose 30. So let's keep that in mind, my friend.
I know. It's the Super Bowl. We had the topic, and I'm like, all right, let's see what Paul's doing. I got ribs, and I got chicken sandwiches. I got potato wedges, and I got Mr. Pickles Catering and jalapeno. My man said dips.
Dude, trust me.
Dips.
Let's just say if it was like me and you, or me, you and your brother, it would have been a completely different story. But, you know, the people I was with, they don't eat like that. So it's like it's a waste to make it for myself. And as much as I like leftovers, I don't know how long those leftovers would last.
Well, at least next time, bake a baked potato, split it open, and stuff that one dip in the baked potato.
That's not a bad idea, dude. It was so good on the rich crackers, and like even with celery, it's like, man, this is a keeper.
Celery is that thing you cut up to make stock with, right? The green one. Yeah. I'm not.
You don't like anything, not even like buffalo chicken dip with celery?
No, I'm not eating. You know what you have with buffalo chicken dip? Like friggin' chicken or something. Not celery.
On top of a chili cheese hot dog.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Indulgence.
What are you? Are you type 3 diabetes, right? Is that what it is? Type 3 diabetic?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm basically died of diabetes like 10 years ago. And this is just my ghost floating around. That's why I don't ever sleep.
Did you have any sweet treats for the Super Bowl?
They just got store-bought cupcakes, which I had one, but that's not my thing.
Shout out to the smarter brother, Mitch Crum. He said here, I'm fat and ready, LOL.
Hey, Mitch is on watching.
Mitch, you got to trade me either Justin Herbert or Tua Tagovailoa this offseason. I demand it, sir.
No, you ain't getting Herbert. I can tell you that Herbert and Dak ain't going nowhere. Now, somebody might get a Tua, but it's just his value. There's no reason to trade right now. We want to get his value up. He's a good enough backup if you need him, but we need to get his value a little bit higher. You know, see where he goes. Where does he end up? Does he stay on Miami? What's the coaching staff? Does he end up in a trade for Watson? Is he on Houston? Does he have Brandon Cooks? There's just too many questions right now to trade him. And it's it's hard to trade because we have a pretty loaded team. If the right stuff happens at wide receiver, like if Russell Wilson can throw, then you got DK Metcalf. If Dak if Cooper, stays here or goes to a team where he's a number one, and or if he stays here and Dak, they start making it a priority to go to him, then right. Cooper's a pretty good one. Like our running back team is pretty loaded. Our quarterback group, you heard Dak and Herbert, like. What is he saying? I can't see the comment.
No chance.
Yeah. Yep. And he definitely, like, you put a draft pick, he values draft picks. So he's definitely not giving up picks in a trade at all. We got Elijah Mitchell. Look where we got him and look how he turned out. Like, we pride ourselves in using we're Dallas Cowboys level, use our draft picks. So we're going to keep those. And I do believe we're going to do a trade. I just don't know what yet. Let's let
just not with me. I get it. That's fine.
Yeah, we need a team with better players.
Heaven forbid the team with the playoffs is getting criticized by a team that didn't.
True. Fair point. I can't believe we didn't make it to the playoffs with the friggin' the team we had, but Russell Wilson and Dak kind of, Amari Cooper had and then we had so many injuries to the running backs like consistently that it was annoying.
I will say this before we move on. If Tua does stay in Miami, man, I'm really excited for him and Mike McDaniel and Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, man, Jalen Waddle's good. Jalen Waddle and Jamar Chase. This whole draft, just pick by pick. I don't know if people are trading any. Like Pitts was a monster, Chase was a monster, Waddle was a monster, Patrick Surtain. Horn got injured. Okay, Horn got injured. Slater was great. Micah Parsons. Do we even need to discuss Micah Parsons? Holy crap. Goodness. That guy was just ridiculous. Even DeMonte Smith, like, it wasn't like an all-time, like, oh my God, he's Jamar Chase or Waddle, but I don't think Eagles fans are like, oh, we blew it. Like, he was a good pick. Like, it was just that first, like, 15 picks is just nasty in the draft this year. What a crazy good rookie draft class.
If Devonta can get a certified number 2 or even just maybe a better offensive coordinator at some point, I mean, he could really blow up this year.
Imagine if he didn't have a running back throwing to him. Like if he had an actual like quarterback that can throw, Devontae Smith might be a pretty good wide receiver. Just, what are you going to do when it's like halfback option pass every play and you got to pray to God.
The hater returns. Mike, let's get, sorry to cut you off. Like, let's get to it. What were your thoughts on the Super Bowl?
It was cool. It was all right. Nothing special. Competitive, so that's good. And a lot of great players. Aaron Donald made plays. Cooper Kupp made plays. Jamar Chase made plays.
Odell Beckham Jr.
Before he goes down with injury makes plays. So, in that sense, it was good, but it wasn't like it's nothing. In a couple of years, we'll be like, who won that Super Bowl? And that was the Rams year. That's right. It just didn't have that big, memorable, stuff. So good for Aaron Donald. I'm happy for him. And what a year for Kupp. Maybe the most complete, best year for a wide receiver ever. Win the Triple Crown, Super Bowl MVP, win the Super Bowl. Like, so impressive. So that was good. But overall, the game was like, it was all right.
I thought the first half was pretty exciting, very even balanced. That it looked like it was going to be a high-scoring affair heading into halftime. But the third quarter kind of was pretty ugly, pretty defensive battle. They started to try to have figured each other's offenses out, and then of course the Beckham injury didn't help the Rams at all. But overall, I thought it was a competitive, a good Super Bowl. Like you said, probably not the most memorable Super Bowl, but again, a good balance of scoring and defense.
Yeah, it was solid. It was like a 6.57. Like if you're telling somebody and they were like, how's that movie? You go, oh yeah, watch it. It's a good movie. And they're like, oh yeah, I should watch it. I'm like, well, don't, it's not like the greatest movie of all time or anything, but it's a good movie. It's worth a watch. It was like that. It wasn't, it wasn't all-time elite amazing, but it was good. Like, Buffalo, Kansas City. Now there's a game we'll think about in 30 years.
Oh
We'll be
God,
talking about, what was it, 13 seconds or whatever, but this one is like, you'll kind of forget the details of it in 2-3 years. You'll be like, who won the Super Bowl? And it'll be like, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. It was that one game, Rams and Bengals. I literally forgot right there. I swear to God, I couldn't remember the two teams. I said, oh yeah, it was that one. Oh, what? Yeah, Rams and Bengals.
Yeah, back-to-back Super Bowls of kind of lackluster. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I hate to call this one lackluster, but compared to, it was much better than the Super Bowl last year. But when you think about the Super Bowls as a whole, not that many exciting plays or anything.
I think this one would have been remembered if Bengals won, because Joe Burrow in his first year not injured, and then Bengals haven't won in so long that I think this one would have been remembered more if Bengals won. But with the Rams winning, you're kind of like, okay, they went out, sold all their draft picks. They got a bunch of great players. We kind of expected them to win. They won. It was competitive, but it was nothing special. Hey, hold your cup up again. What's on your cup?
Oh, this is a wedding gift from my wife's aunt.
I swear that I thought it said Across the Cowboys. I said, did that fool get a cup and try to sneak
merch
that
coming
merch
soon?
In there?
Hey, merch coming soon. Maybe some stickers, some shirts for sure.
Let's do it. I'm in.
One thing that people seem to really enjoy about the Super Bowl, Mike, was the halftime show. Going off the show sheet here, what were your thoughts there?
I love the halftime show. It wasn't my favorite. It's still Michael Jackson. That one. 93, man, just Michael Jackson's Super Bowl is elite tier 1 all time. And then I love Prince and Bruno Mars. They're my next tier. They're also unbelievable. And I think this one's right after that. I have no problem putting this one fourth. Snoop was great. Dre was awesome. The set just was amazing.
Yeah.
I know 50 got killed for being bigger. All right, he's old. He made a lot of money, dude. He's still in better shape than all of us. That's what makes me laugh. Like, my fat ass was like, oh, 50 cent dollar bill. And I started thinking about it like, yeah, fat ass. This guy's got all kinds of muscle under, so he's a little bit more padded, but he's also a scrawny ass. So it made me laugh that, so many people, I'm like, man, you better be like a Bowflex trainer making fun of 50 Cent because he put on 30 pounds or whatever over his really, he's still buff under there. So, I like the halftime show. So you're never going to get me to complain. You could have Dr. Dre every year. He's literally, if I put on shuffle on my thing for 10 songs, he'll probably, someone in that grouping or someone that he, gave their push to, they'll be in that 10 songs at least twice. So I was pumped for that halftime show.
What do you remember what Super Bowl it was with Bruno Mars and Prince?
I think Bruno Mars was with Beyonce, not Prince.
It was okay. The way you said them, like they were together, that would have been amazing. But I thought it was, I thought Prince was his own show for some reason.
Yeah, Prince. It goes Michael Jackson, and then you could put Prince or Bruno Mars. Both shows were incredible. I'm not going to argue against either. Even some that'll put Prince over Michael Jackson, that's fine. Prince had a great show. I like Michael Jackson better, so it resonates for me. Like it's a level above because like he's probably my number one in like of all time. So for me, I have those three and then Dre, but they weren't together. Bruno Mars came in on Beyonce's, I believe, halftime show, and that would probably be my fifth. I would probably have that on there. That was a great show too.
Bruno Mars, quite the entertainer, sir.
Closest thing to Michael Jackson that it's been. Right. Also, I like Weeknd a lot because he reminds me of Michael Jackson.
Yes, sir. Mike, I like most types of music, and more often than not, I actually find most halftime shows entertaining. That being said, this was easily my favorite halftime show in at least the last 5 years or so. Oh. I did, say what you will, but one halftime show I found really entertaining was the Justin Timberlake halftime show from, I don't know how many years that was. I think that was the 2018 or 2019 Super Bowl. he's just a good dancer, good singer. He's got a lot of popular songs, and I found him to be entertaining.
You love Janet Jackson's boob.
No, not that one. I'll never forget seeing that, dude. That was crazy.
Yeah, Justin Timberlake's one of my favorite entertainers. I like his movies. I love when he's on SNL with hosting and with Andy Samberg. Just the Lonely Island group with him is magic, and then his music is his music. I don't listen to all of it, but I'm a big Timberland fan, and so Timberland's his producer, and there's a lot of them that just really, really great.
Yeah, his first solo album with Timberland, man, a lot of those beats and everything was like seeing that side of him was like, wow, I was impressed.
That's another one that you won't get many songs into my shuffle before you hit a Timberland beat. It'll be in there. I have a lot of his stuff.
Yes, sir. Well, Mike, moving along here, another popular thing about the Super Bowl, of course, is the commercials. What was your favorite one?
All right. This is kind of a cop-out because y'all know me. I mean, can you guess which one it is? You could probably guess. Which one do you think mine is? Think
Marvel
about me.
Moon Knight.
No, but that was a good one. But it is Disney. It's the Disney Plus goats. Because I just love seeing all the different Disney characters, the way they dress the goats like them, and me looking through going, oh, that's this one. That's this one. So that's the only one that I watched after the Super Bowl online to see if I could pick out, which ones they did, So that one's mine. But there was actually the one with Scarlett Johansson and her husband from SNL, Colin Jost. That's a funny commercial. That was really good. I like the Joneses one where Jonas comes at the end and everybody's like, nah, bro, you're not a Jones. So I honestly, competitive, pretty good game to watch, a damn good halftime show, and pretty good set of commercials. All in all around is one of the better complete Super Bowls as far as like watchability all the way through.
Yeah. Mike, you're not the only one who's going to give a cop-out answer here because it's a tie for me. I like the Uber Eats commercial where like people are eating the sponges and the toilet paper and everything. And the Pringles commercial where that guy gets his hand stuck in the can and he just dies with it. He's buried with it in his casket and stuff.
And the next guy comes in. That figures you would like that. I don't know why when I saw that one, I was like, I was talking to Mitchell about it and we were like, it's a commercial it's supposed to be funny. And for some reason with that commercial, we were way over the top. We were like, okay, can't ever get the can off. You're doing this and that. And like, that's the part of the joke, dude. What do you it took me a while before I was like, why was I so critical of that commercial? Like, obviously the idea is, hey, look how stupid it is. You just keep the thing on there. But while I'm watching it, I was like, okay, you're gonna have it on that whole time. It's like, don't take it that seriously, dude. Calm down.
Taking a little too literal, huh?
Yeah, it was like, we have a friend that lives with us who like didn't like the Godzilla movie because it wasn't realistic.
Oh God.
I mean, what are we doing here? So
wow.
I kind of had that moment when I was for a little bit. I'm like dogging the Pringles commercial, and I was like, actually, it gets you to think about it and talk about, oh, he's doing this and that. It was actually a pretty decent commercial.
Yeah. Well, Mike, there was quite a few good previews for movies and upcoming series. Two that I was really excited about. Well, of the two, are you more excited for Moon Knight or Nope? But I also want to ask, I don't know how big of a Lord of the Rings fan you are, but should I have included that in this question?
Don't matter which one you included. Which one am I going to say?
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight. It's Disney Marvel, people. Moon Knight. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Jordan Peele. I enjoyed Candyman. I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed Get Out. I like that. Us made me mad because they gave away the ending in the trailer. So I was pissed about that because
They did?
Yeah, if you go back and watch the trailer, you'll see the little girl get aggressive in the mirror. And then when you watch the movie, the opening scene, it just shows it cut off. And I was like, well, it doesn't, obviously that's going to come up later on. It was in the trailer. And sure enough, it ends with her doing that. So I was a little pissed off about that. But other than that, I like the Jordan Peele movies, but not compared to Disney Marvel. Especially this one's supposed to have a brutality level in Moon Knight. That's
really
pretty, up there. I've been hearing from what I've been reading about it. So The Lord of the Rings, I like the books. I'm not as high. I like Fellowship of the Ring a lot. The other two, I feel like The Hobbit was bad. I didn't like the Hobbit movies at all. I thought they extended them out too much. They did way, way too much with them to make them 3 movies, and that was kind of annoying money grab. I like the other 3, but not as like people put them in with like the original Star Wars, and I don't have them that high. I enjoy them, but not like that. I think the books are clearly better than the movies are, especially just the ending for Return of the King just went on forever, and I was like, golly, some of it feels. Sometimes when you watch Lord of the Rings, it feels like you're reading the book, and I'm like, I would just read the book if I want something to last this long. So for me, I'm gonna watch them and I enjoy them, but not like I do Marvel, Disney, Star Wars. That I don't have them up in that tier for me.
You mentioned brutality. It kind of did look like Moon Knight was going to be a little bit darker, not so much aimed at the younger people.
Yeah, it is going to be it is going to, there's a level of brutality that's supposed to be in it that that's what the directors of it say and the writers, or that it's not going to be your typical, Marvel Disney fare, that there's going to be a little bit heaviness to it.
Yeah, I was going to say there's like it almost looked like some sort of spiritism or like almost demonic type stuff in it.
Yeah. Yep. Sorry about that.
No, you're good, Mike. Sticking with the game here, do you think that the refs ruined the end of that game?
Ruins hard. They definitely were bad. Like, here's my thing. Don't call a game one way for 58 minutes, and then in the last 2 minutes, call it differently for some weird ass reason. And people go, oh, it evened out. That's not my point. I'm not saying that one team got more calls or other calls, because people would come on, because I put that on Twitter, and people would come on and go, well, what about the face mask on Jalen Ramsey earlier? I'm like, exactly. Like, they literally were calling nothing. The play before that play, the running back just got destroyed, like grabbed and dragged down, and the ball went to the running back and nothing was called. And then on 3rd and 8, with the game on the line, like Logan Wilson, you can call a penalty any play of the game. You cannot tell me that penalty is called even 20% of the time in regular games where calls are being made. The running back call would have been called the play before, but not that one. That one was bogus. So, yeah, I mean, it made you talk about the refs. Like Dan talks about it being rigged. I don't go far as to say games are rigged. I do say that they'll lean a game one way to make it to, if they think a game might be a blowout and it's like a game of the week type thing, they may, like, the refs may influence a little bit to keep it close, maybe call a few more calls, or don't call things for a team that's a favorite, to keep the game competitive. But that's how it ended. It ended with all of us kind of going, really? Like, after all this, you called that on Logan Wilson? Because the Rams on 4th and 8 might have scored a touchdown and won the game anyway. But the fact that it's like, that's weak. So ruin, no, but it wasn't a great ending for them. And it's typical for this year. We're going to end it talking about the refs.
Excuse me. Mike, I'm right there with you. I don't think they ruined the game either. However, I don't like how they impacted the most important part of the game.
I agree. Like, if it had been called that way all game, then I'd be like, well, what'd you expect? That's what they were doing all game. You can't touch them before. You can't get there early. You can't. But the whole game, I mean, people were sending up screenshots where Jalen Ramsey at the goal line was holding T. Higgins on that play on the opposite side to show that I'm not making it about one team got robbed of the other. Jalen Ramsey just gets clearly face masked. It's not called. Like, just the whole game, they never called penalties. Like, and then that.
Let them play.
Yeah, and then you called that. Like, at least if they'd have called it on the running back one or the one that they called on Cooper Kupp later on, a couple plays later, clearly, obviously, you have to call it. But that Logan Wilson call was trash.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Cooper Kupp, Mike, he took quite the big hit, but then he more than made up for it with his stat line. Was Kupp the right choice for Super Bowl MVP?
Right after they scored the touchdown, before I saw if Cincinnati was going to come down and score, I said, well, if the Rams win, Kupp's the MVP, but it's a QB award, so we don't know. So I was very shocked to see in the comments afterwards, like, hey, Kupp won it. And I was like, all right, nice, because it should have been Kupp or Kupp and Aaron Donald. But normally a team who won? Okay, Matt Stafford's MVP, that quarterback. So it was nice to finally get one where people realize, like, no, the two most impactful players in that game was Cooper Kupp and Aaron Donald. And Cooper Kupp won it and should have won it, really. I mean, legitimately, you could split it with Donald for the last two plays of the game where he basically stopped the runner and then got the sack or the pressure. So, those two could have pushed him to a tie for it, but really it was Cooper Kupp's award.
Yeah, I found out today, listening to 105.3 The Fan, Brian Broaddus said that they decide who the MVP is with like 2 minutes left to play in the game.
Yeah, so I probably did right after Kupp got that drive. That drive was just basically only Cooper Kupp. They basically said, okay, this guy's the MVP. So that's probably why Aaron Donald didn't split it. Because his biggest last impact was the last two plays of the game. So he probably didn't get the split because of that, and probably still shouldn't have. I mean, Kupp killed for them without Beckham in there. And no running game. He just killed.
Yeah, he was that easily the right choice. If Cincinnati wins, I mean, I think you can make a case for either T. Higgins or for Joe Burrow, but I don't think even with the game that Aaron Donald had, I felt like the entire defensive line was effective, not just him by himself. So Kupp was an easy choice.
I would have picked Burrow if the other team won because I think he got sacked another like 8 times or whatever. The way he plays through the O-line is just crazy.
Yeah, it really is. Speaking of the O-line, Mike, should Cincinnati have drafted Penei Sewell over Jamar Chase?
Should Dallas have drafted Slater over Micah Parsons?
Of course not.
Of course not. No, Jamar Chase is a killer. He's a monster. The Cincinnati Bengals, I'll tell you the same thing I tell people that are like, oh, Slater, they still could have picked Slater. No, there's levels. Slater was excellent. He was not Micah Parsons. You couldn't give me Slater and Asante Samuel, and I wouldn't give you Micah Parsons. That's how good Micah Parsons is. And the same thing with Jamar Chase. Take Sewell and another pick, and I'm not giving you him for Jamar Chase. And I understand how important offensive line is compared to receiver, but this is he was eating Ramsey for lunch. Let's be real. He was just killing that guy. And then he catches everything. And then especially for that team, his connection with Joe Burrow, they destroyed the whole NCAA, like every record. They annihilated records, and then he came on and killed. So no, you easily, even if it's Slater, because Slater was better than Sewell. Even if you said Slater or Jamar Chase, it's a laugh. It's obviously Jamar Chase. Like, that guy's crazy good.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, as good as Sewell is, he's not going to have the impact on that team that Jamar Chase did.
No, Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, what a great pick. What balls by Cincinnati. Coming off an injury, knowing your quarterback's going to get killed a lot all year again, and did in the game, he might have injured his knee. And you made the right pick because they're now build your O-line, get a free agent, draft a high draft pick at O-line. But now with Higgins, Boyd, Mixon, Chase, if you fix that O-line, oh my Lord, that offense could be nasty.
Yeah, you got to appreciate the boldness by Cincinnati there.
Yeah, I love it. I wouldn't even mind if I don't know if they sign Boyd or Boyd's coming up to be
He's
signed.
probably going to be cut, I think.
See, he's
a potential cut candidate.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Why not try to package Boyd for a offensive lineman, a veteran offensive lineman somewhere? Mm-hmm. Make a move like Kansas City did to rebuild their stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the Saints are lacking in receivers and have a plethora of offensive line depth. So,
yep, exactly.
Maybe help with that salary cap situation too.
Man, they need help too. I know that They did what I would like. Them and Rams did what I would like Dallas to do. I understand staying for the next 10 years and keeping your cap good. But with the team we have, it's about time to just go, you know what? We're going to restructure Amari and keep him. We're going to restructure Tank and keep him. We're going to keep Curse. We're going to keep Gregory. We're going to bring back Hooker. We're going to bring back Gallup. And you know what? We might even sign a linebacker to upgrade Neal. That way, until Cox gets back, you know what I mean? And then that's your – and just come in loaded. And then go into the draft and just go, whatever the hell we want. You know, we'll worry about the stuff later. We'll get an edge if it's there. We'll get a left guard if it's there. We'll get a wide receiver if it's there. And then we'll maneuver what we need to later. But for the next 3 years, we're not backing up at all. There's going to be no backup. We're going forward for the next 3 years. And then if there's a couple of years consequences that we have to do stuff to maneuver and we get into a Rams-Saints situation, so be it. Go for a Super Bowl. It worked for Rams. Let's do it.
I would not hate bringing back Neal on a cheap deal just because, I like what I saw early before he got COVID.
Yeah, I don't. And you need some linebacker depth, and he gives you some versatility. He wasn't great, but he wasn't Jalen out there either. It wasn't a liability. He was a solid guy. If your D line plays better, he probably plays better. And another year of him playing linebacker, I like the idea of bringing Neal back more than LVE because I want to see what Neal does with another year. This is basically the first time he's really played that position full time. There is a difference between linebacker and what Curse was doing. There is a difference, and so he's got to learn it.
Yeah, I'm playing, another year playing next to Micah and then playing with Cox as well. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I'd love it. And Cox coming back is gonna happen. And then you don't know what's gonna happen. DeMonte Clark, Dean, Lloyd, Muma, I believe is Chad Muma. So there's plenty of linebackers in the top like 75 picks or whatever that can make a difference for you.
Absolutely. Well, going back to the Super Bowl, or going back to Burrow rather, he lost the Super Bowl, but he did win the Comeback Player of the Year award. Mike, did you think that he deserved it?
He did. This is the thing. Yes, he did. Did Dak have a better year? He did. Statistically, Dak did have a better year. And both teams were comparable. Both have great weapons. Mixon's probably better than our running game. If you look like our wide receivers and their wide receivers are comparable. Schultz is probably a little better than their tight end. But all in all, the offensive weapons are there. We didn't have a great like elite O-line, but our O-line's probably better than theirs. Like his is really, really bad. So ours being average to below average is still better. The thing is our team didn't meet up at expectations. And we hate to say it, but it still lands on the quarterback. His team exceeded expectations. So although the stats go to Dak and he came off of probably a worse injury, I'd had no problem if Dak got the award, but I'm not going to take it away from Burrow. Burrow deserved that award. They probably should have honestly. And Nick Bosa didn't even get a vote. And what a year he had off his injury. So it was a tough year. And honestly, any of those three could have got it and been deserving. But whose team had the most success? Cincinnati. Give them the award. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I feel like Burrow had a couple more signature wins at the end of the season, stronger finish of the season. So that probably sealed the deal for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
One topic of discussion that the Cowboys were able to get some shine on, if you will, was the snubbing of Demarcus Ware in the Hall of Fame, man. Talk to us about that, Mike.
It's just a disgrace. I mean, we all understand that, look, Richard Seymour deserves to be a Hall of Famer. Great player. He's not DeMarcus Ware. Bryant Young, awesome player. There's not a player that went in, none, not a single one that was DeMarcus Ware. None. DeMarcus Ware is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Elite pass rusher, great number one defensive player on a unit, and went in and won a Super Bowl when he went over to Denver to an organization that's better than the one he was in. So I don't know how you keep him out. The only guy on there that deserved it more was Coach Dick Vermeil. No problem with him getting in. He should have been the first one in. He absolutely deserves to be a Hall of Famer as a coach. And then it should have been Ware. So I guess it's because they're, Richard Sherman and Bryant Young have been around longer. And, I don't know. I guess it's a paying your dues thing. That seems stupid for a Hall of Fame vote. But, it's what they did. And if he's not in next year, they don't have Darren Woodson in. Like, what are we doing? Like, forget the fandom. I don't think there's anybody that's like on other like Eagles players and fans would be like, oh no, Darren Woodson's a Hall of Famer. Like, duh, Demarcus Ware's a Hall of Famer. Like, you're not gonna hate on a guy like that because he's on another team. He's retired. Like, yeah, clearly a Hall of Famer. So I don't know. Just the people that got in makes it like weird. I get it if it's last year and Randy Moss and all this crazy class, but like y'all put Bryant Young. My dogs are getting involved. Sorry. Y'all put Bryant Young and that above Ware. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, you look at his individual accolades. I mean, I almost kind of forgot how good he was, but then when I saw everything that he did, I'm like, my goodness, this guy really was just an incredible player.
He won. Like,
yeah.
I have no idea what the argument is for him to not be a Hall of Famer. I have no clue.
Well, you think about it. You see how long it took Drew Pearson to get in. Darren Woodson still not in, and now Demarcus Ware. It's the Cowboys' curse, man.
Yeah, I just at least the other two, it's like they're like Darren Woodson and Drew Pearson are obviously Hall of Famers, but I don't think they were as great as Demarcus Ware was. Like Demarcus Ware was like elite at what he did, like as pass rusher, and won a Super Bowl. Like, I guess Darren Woodson was one of the best safeties in the league too and won 3. So yeah, I mean, it's I don't know.
Pearson didn't win a Super Bowl?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Say, I thought he won at least one, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was part of the Cowboys' original triplets.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just, dude, I mean, how long did he have to wait to get in? That was almost more egregious than Ware not getting in this time.
It was like, I believe it was like the whole offensive unit for that team was in except for Drew Pearson. It was like every player on the offense but him. It's like, yeah, hello, Drew Pearson. Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy. To me, Bryant Young's not a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
He just isn't. He's just not. He was a great player. Hall of Fame's like Richard Seymour. Sure, I think Richard Seymour's a Hall of Famer. But, man, this class wasn't great. Dick Vermeil is the only one that I was like, Hall of Famer, clearly. And then Richard Seymour, I was like, oh, yeah, sure. He works in the Hall of Fame. He can make it. I wouldn't complain. Everyone else, I'm like,
Well, the Cowboys got at least one victory over this weekend, Mike, and that was Micah Parsons' unanimous victory for defensive rookie of the year. What were your thoughts there? Or did that make up for Ware's snub, rather? Sorry.
No, it doesn't make up for Ware's snub because it's obvious. Who are you going to vote for? This guy was the all-pro, like all-pro team. He got 5 votes for a defensive player of the year, not just rookie. So, no, it doesn't make up for it because it was obvious. If anybody voted anyone other than Michael Parsons, they'd have got their vote taken away. Like, he was clearly the only player even in his contention as a rookie was Jamar Chase. That's it. That is the single guy. So yeah, he was obviously defensive rookie of the year. And I wish I had it. I should have put it on. I just got the shirt. It got delivered today. The defensive player of the year, Micah Parsons shirt. So next week on the show, I will wear it. I should have wore it today. That's my fault on that. I'm off tomorrow and I wanted to wear it all day tomorrow. And if I would have thought about it, I should have repped it on the show.
Is it short sleeve? Does it come in long sleeve? Do they have a hoodie? What's the shirt?
I got the short sleeve. That was the only one that I saw.
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep my eyes out for that. He has his own merchandise, and some of his hats are pretty cool. I was thinking about buying one a little while ago.
Yeah, I want to get my next 2 things are I want to get an alternative Diggs jersey, and then I want to get a white Boss Man jersey.
Oh Lord! Stop getting all the jerseys. I want to get one.
You can't get them. You can only get the Navy. I apologize, guys. My dogs are like fighting. There's somebody must be at the gate or something because they are losing their minds. So if you can hear them, I apologize.
They're all riled up about Ware, sir.
Yeah, they are. They're pissed.
You know, Micah, as we've seen just about every offseason, a player removes all of his association with his current team from whatever social media, his Twitter, his Instagram. Kyler Murray was he removed all of his pictures with the Arizona Cardinals. Do you see him being a Cardinal next year?
Yeah, he will be. Unless he's traded for Watson, he'll be a Cardinal. It's a money thing. It's time to get paid for him, you know. And I just think it's they're going to give him his big contract and he'll be there unless he's in a trade for like a Watson. They're not that he ain't going nowhere.
I mean, I'd kind of like to see where he would end up in a trade if he were to be, just because, you hear about his attitude. Sometimes he doesn't always have the best body language, and then now you're hearing how he's pointing the finger at people for losing and things like that. It's just, I don't know if that's somebody you can build around.
No, I wouldn't. I don't want Kyler Murray. I was not a fan of his, and he was worthy of the number one pick based on his talent, but he hasn't developed into. He's one of those overrated ones that people are like. When I hear people say Dak's average, I'm like, well, what quarterbacks do you have? They're like Kyler Murray, and I'm like, no, you don't. You just hear a name. Yeah. There's no way you can watch Kyler Murray and think he's a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. There's just no way. There's not really. You can hate on Dak Prescott and like just want to put out names that people go, oh yeah, that name. But if you watch Kyler Murray, there ain't no way in the world you think he's a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. He doesn't throw the ball as well. He's a better playmaker because he can run really fast and he has a really good arm, but he's not near as accurate. He doesn't read the field near as well. And that's one thing that Dak gets killed for. And I'm like, okay, well, watch him. Because there's levels. So yeah, he's not one I'm building around. I would try to trade him if I'm Arizona, but I think they pay him because he's one of those that if you get a good enough defense and you build a offensive line and stuff like that, he could win because he can make plays with his legs.
I think it's the infatuation with him is this combination of fantasy and the running ability.
Fantasy has a lot to do with it. A lot.
So, Mike, let's just say you're a GM and you have a disgruntled quarterback on your team. How do you handle that situation?
Is it Aaron Rodgers? Because if it's Aaron Rodgers, then he's just going to play, or he's going to until his contract ends, or he's going to retire.
Let's just say Russell Wilson.
I probably try to trade Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson's another one that's another overrated one. I tell him like this. I go, if Dak is average, you don't have to put him above, but then Russell Wilson's average. Because they're basically the same, except one had the Legion of Boom, one of the greatest defenses of all time. Like, what have they done? What has Seattle done since they played Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
They haven't done anything. Dak went 12-5, went to the playoffs. Yeah, he got beat, but he went 12-5 since he got paid. Since Russell Wilson got paid, he ain't done anything. If he's been bolstered if you have a great run game and a great defense, he will make plays. He is a playmaker. He's got a great deep ball. He moves around in the pocket great. You can win with Russell Wilson. Team, they already have. They've been to a Super Bowl, probably should have won 2. But he's not. He's in that middling tier where he's overrated by some. He's a very good quarterback, but he's overrated into that. Like I watched ESPN something, and they had tier 1 was Patty Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, and Russell Wilson. I'm like, no, you don't watch him then. You don't watch. Period. The last 2 years you haven't watched him when he's had a not as good teams. I believe Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers can do more with less than Russell Wilson can.
I think about this. If you put Russell Wilson with a guy like Shanahan in San Francisco, then we're talking about elite. But with Pete Carroll and his old school play calling and philosophy, I think that's kind of why people are starting to sour on him, because early in the season when they're passing a lot, you're kind of seeing him being unleashed, letting Russ cook, as the kids say. I think that's the type of player that people are ranking as a tier 1 quarterback.
I will say that Pete Carroll and our philosophy brought down by the Joneses is one thing that killed Dak this year and is killing Russell Wilson, because they're so worried about protecting their defenses And after last year's Seattle and Dallas defenses, and this year, I understand that, but you can't. You got to win some way. So let the offense do its thing and go at it.
Yeah, Mike, that's not the Cowboy way.
Oh God, fuck! I will leave this. I'll leave, dude. Don't even start with that.
Yeah, you heard what I said, dude. That stuff that shout out to Burgers and Blitzes not to be tried. If that stuff were to come out and it's confirmed, not saying that he's wrong or that his sources are incorrect, but if there's just more confirmation from I don't know a public figure or something, then I'm done, bro.
Yeah, if a video or audio came out of them telling more, like we need to hold back, we need to protect our defense. Don't it's stupidest planning of all. You can't play like that. Yeah. I understand the concept of holding the ball. And so I'm not saying you got to go no huddle all the time. You could run the clock down, try to hold possessions, but not throwing it deep because you don't want to hit too big of a play or miss it and then go essentially 3 and out because you're worried about your defense. That's a terrible way to play offense. Terrible.
Absolutely. We're talking about rankings, Mike. Where do you have Kyler Murray ranked as among quarterbacks?
He is 11th for me.
Oh, really? Wow.
I have Mahomes.
Okay.
Let me see. Do I have? Okay, so Mahomes, Rodgers, and Allen, I would put in the clear tier 1, especially at the end of Allen's year. I'm going to give him that respect. Tier 2, I've got Stafford, Burrow, Dak, and then Russell Wilson. I think the reason I put Dak tier 2 is I think the first 6 weeks he was tier 1, then he was tier 3 the end of the year. So I'm going to give the benefit of a calf injury in the O-line. I'm going to put him in the tier 2, and let's see what he does this next year. And then tier 3 is where I have Kyler with Derek Carr, Herbert for now. I think Herbert will be in that tier 2 next year. And then I have Lamar Jackson because he's unique like Kyler. He can run, but I put too much into the throwing. He's just not a good thrower for me. So I have him in the tier 3 because him and Kyler are ones that I don't believe I can win with in the league, except for one like real slim way. And it's so hard to do things that way because defenses will figure that out, figure out ways to slow it down enough. So that's my tier 3. So I have them 10th, 11th, depending on if you want to put Derek Carr or him over. I would put Derek Carr because I just think he's a better in-pocket quarterback. He's not the playmaker, but I'm also from Fresno, so take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I had him in my top 15. I didn't go that in depth, Mike. It was actually a busy day, but just for conversation's sake, let's talk about the him and Carr. I think I'd rather have Murray only because it seems like Derek Carr is he doesn't like to take chances. He doesn't like to push the ball downfield. I think Kyler's more of a risk taker, and we got to see that. We got to see that you got to make risks sometimes to make those big plays.
That's fair. Like I said, you got to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt because Fresno. I'm from Fresno. I love Derek Carr. So maybe Kyler's 10, Carr's 11.
Hey, fair enough, Mike. Okay, so if we're starting a franchise today, Mike, of these 3 quarterbacks, who would you build around? Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, or Kyler Murray?
For me, this is a no-brainer. Give me Trevor Lawrence. I think he played pretty damn well, and considering his circumstances, oh my God, what a dumpster fire that guy got dropped into. This ain't New England where you got like a top 5 defense and Josh McDaniels running that system that's so let's call it Mac Jones friendly style, and the way he was able to win games, there's just no way Trevor Lawrence could win games like that. Trevor Lawrence can make every throw. He's mobile enough. He's smart. You could see it as the year went on. Even in that dumpster fire, you could see him in games. The kind of quarterback he's going to be if he could either get out of Jacksonville or they could figure themselves out. Now, does that mean I think he'll have as successful a career? He could have the worst career because Mac Jones could win a Super Bowl because he's got Bill Belichick, and Bill Belichick's going to have a great defense. And as Mac Jones learns the system, led by a great defense, he may win a title. And then you're sitting there and Trev's 3-13 every year, even though he's a better quarterback, but he's in a dumpster fire of a team that can't keep an offensive line. Their coaching picks are terrible. But if you're telling me I get to build my team, I get to have Dane Brugler and Kavanaugh and Brian Broaddus come in and Will McClay and run with me, and I go, hey, I got Trevor Lawrence. What are we going to do to build around him? Of those three, give me Trevor Lawrence. Now, a lot of people want Kyler's playmaking. That would be my second guy because I do think he has a big arm and he can make plays. But I believe both of them are limited, where Mac Jones is very limited. Have a good defense, hide your quarterback. He's not going to go out and win you many games. Not that he won't win you sums. Doesn't mean he'll never win a game. Don't text and go, Mac Jones goes for 300 in a game. You're like, see, he did it one time this year. That shit happens. I'm talking about what you could do every week to win a game. Mac Jones is very limited. Kyler is still limited because he's not very accurate. If you keep him in the pocket, make him look over the line, make him drive the ball long drives, he's limited. I think Trevor Lawrence at his best, he can beat you mobility. He can beat you just standing in there going deep. He can beat you in the Patriots system. Put him in the Patriots system. Watch what happens. He'll be great at it. Yeah. So I just think he has more tools to win. Now, he may be developed the worst of the three because of where he's at, and I may look like an idiot. You go, he's out of the league or a backup in 5 years because he couldn't get more than 5 wins for Jacksonville. But if you're telling me what I want Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what him and Doug Peterson can do this year.
Man, I'm terrified. I hope they do good, but I'm terrified of that. That organization's woof. So you bring in Urban Meyer and go through all the stuff that before he hires that one guy and it goes, and then, oh God, like that makes me nervous for Trevor Lawrence. Cause I was a big, coming into the draft, I was like, Trevor Lawrence is your number one. I don't even care. Like that's the guy. And then you go from there. And when he went to Jacksonville, I'm like, man, this makes, at first I was like, okay, Urban Meyer, let's see how he runs a good program. But y'all saw what was happening there. Like, why did it take you so long for that? He clearly was not an NFL. That's not his style. So, yeah, I'm nervous for Trev. But if I could take him out of Jacksonville, he's easily my pick over the other two.
Yeah, definitely Trevor Lawrence for me as well. Just like you said, he's got the athletic ability. I think he from what I saw, the small, if you want to call them highlights or just little stories I saw, I feel like he's probably a well-respected player. He won a championship in college, lost another one. Being the number one overall pick, I mean, there's a reason for that. Pretty easily Trevor Lawrence for me as well.
Well, I go, okay, Mac Jones is his ready-to-go-ness now, his smarts, his work ethic.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence has all that. Nobody said anything about it. Okay, Kyler Murray is mobile. Is he as mobile? No, but Trevor Lawrence is mobile. Kyler Murray has the bigger arm, but there's not a throw Trev can't make. His arm's excellent. It may not be as zippy as Kyler Murray's, but he's got a great arm. Kyler Murray's got a shortstop arm. It's rare. But Trev is if Kyler can make every throw, Trevor Lawrence is right there. He has a very good arm. And then he's more accurate. Like he can do the short stuff. So yeah, I want the guy with all the tools and the pedigree and everything. Give me that guy.
Absolutely. All right, Michael, here we are with one word. And I want you to give me one word for if the Cowboys cut Amari Cooper and they sign Odell Beckham Jr., you would be blank.
Intrigued, because the one thing I'll say is Cooper plays through injuries and OBJ stays injured. Like he's injured all the time. I think he's overrated as a player. Because he has talent, but you have to be on the field. Like in the Super Bowl, he's killing and then boom, hurt. Like non-contact. Like he stays hurt. And so that would make me nervous. I'm like, damn, you're putting it on like I know Cooper's going to play 12 games, 12, 13 games, no matter what. Like he just does not miss stuff. OBJ, do I get 5 games out of him? On the other hand, threat-wise, if you can turn Madden mode off and turn injuries off like Madden, OBJ's got all the talent in the world. So if you get him out there, he's such a threat. He opens up so much. And Cooper is an elite, a very good. He is also a threat. There's just levels to it. And OBJ talent level wise, brings a little bit more of that, that I don't know, magic as a player. Like, he just does things that only rare people could do. Personally, I would rather keep Cooper. I want my guy to keep his mouth shut, play hard, not complain. I don't want him doing the net stuff and marrying the net and pissing on the pissing on the field stuff where literally your teammates like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, right. I don't really want that, but I'd be intrigued as far as like, okay, we cut him, so that's a savings of $16.5 million. OBJ's coming off an ACL, so what is he going to be, 10, 12? So you save probably a good $6 million there, and then you get maybe a more talented player if he's able to play. So I'd be intrigued by that.
Mike, no, for me, knowing he is still a difference maker on the field, assuming he'd be cheaper than Amari, like you were saying, and considering he's an emotional person, so I feel like he would be willing to talk to Dak, not necessarily get in his face in like an aggressive way, but, let him know, hey, man, this is what you're doing. This is what we need to be doing type of thing. Who has also been humbled, dealt with adversity, but also at the same time has been called a great teammate. For the first time in one word history, Mike, I too would be intrigued by that move.
Hey, look at that. We hit the same word.
I couldn't believe it, Mike.
It's a good word. Intrigued fits really well. I think that fits the for that, because I wouldn't be like happy, because I mean I Cooper might be the better option there. Like, just he's so great in the locker room. He knows the system. He plays through injury. He's going to be pissed off this next year. So I'm really looking to keep him. But if you're, I'd be intrigued by a very talented OBJ at maybe a few million less per year and see what he does with that talent. But, I'm good sticking with Cooper personally.
Absolutely. All right, Michael. Well, last week I gave you a prospect to study. That prospect was Gene DeLance, offensive tackle out of Florida. Mike, talk to us about his pros and his cons.
All right. So pros, length. He has a lot of length, and he had a really good Shrine game, East-West Shrine game. His feet looked pretty quick. He was a little bit more aggressive and a little bit faster than I expected him to be. His length shows up, so that's good. And he looks like a guy that could play as strong enough as a guard and move well enough, and be a well enough moving zone blocker type as a tackle. But cons wise, and versatility because of the guard tackle thing, the ability to move from guard to tackle, because he played mostly right tackle, but I think he can move to left guard and be good what you want. And I think he could be a solid left tackle with some work. The cons, he's lightweight, he's under 300 pounds. His tape doesn't match what he showed in the Shrine game, which bothers me. He got beat a lot foot quickness wise by faster edges. I don't know if he could, he looked good in the East West Shrine game, but that tape didn't match that. He got beat a lot by quicker guards. He also didn't anchor consistently because he's lightweight. He wasn't bad at it, but it would be an issue against power guys. This is NFL. This is big boy football. Right. You're going to get some guys on you. Aaron Donald's going to move out there. Jonathan Allen's going to move out there sometimes, and you got to deal with them. Chase Young. So you got to deal with some guys that can bring some power. That bothers me. The cons on his tape were cleaned up a little bit by his practice, but how much do I want that to be? How much do I take into account a little bit of practice for the East-West Shrine game compared to all the tape I watched from Florida?
Right. All right, Mike. So is he a day one contributor, and is he a Cowboys type?
Cowboys type, yes, because we want the length. The weight has never been an issue for us. I believe that they're not as much into like super anchoring down. I think he does it well enough for them. So I believe he will be a target. Also, Dallas met with him. The word was that there was 25 teams that met with him, and Niners and Dallas were both two heads of that. Day one contributor, I do not believe so. I think he has quite a bit of work to do on getting out of his stance, getting off against speed rushers, a year in the weight room because he has 6'4", 296. He has the ability to do that. Now, could he play left guard day one? Possibly, but I wouldn't love it. So I'd say no as a day one contributor.
So with his size and everything and the ability to play tackle, we're looking at a possibility of maybe hoping to target a late round, potentially Tyron Smith replacement. Possibly.
Yes, possibly. But I think he'd play guard for us personally.
Okay. So is he let's go through these last three. Is he a realistic target? What's your round prediction and what's your grade on him?
He is a realistic target. I think he goes because of the East-West Shrine game where he looked a little bit faster because of his versatility. I think he goes late round 3, early round 4. Okay. I have a 4th round grade on him as far as right now today. I do want to see his combine because as you improve, his tape was like day 3 sometimes. Like you can get him 5th, 6th round. Then he goes in the East-West Shrine game. You're like, okay, I can see him going in the 4th, maybe in the, he puts together another good combine. Now you're talking a solid 3rd round pick with some upside, So as of right now, I have a 4th round grade on him. And I think he'd go somewhere in the 4th round, if not late 3rd.
Hey, nothing wrong with grabbing some depth and hopefully grabbing a starter that late.
Yeah, that's ideally that's where you want to get your guards and centers. If you can. If you're really good at drafting, look at the way the Chiefs did it. Creed Humphreys in round 2 and round late was Trey Smith. What a great pick that guy was.
All right, Mike. So next week, this is going to be our prospect preview for next week. It's going to be Baylor safety Jalen Petrie. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his last name right, but that's just me guessing. I don't know if you've done any work on him, but have you studied him at all?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Okay, so what are your early thoughts on him?
I'm studying safeties right now, so that's a thing. I'm not telling you. We're waiting until next week.
Just a little tease for the audience. One word it.
Playmaker.
Hey, you can never have too many of those, sir.
I will say it makes me nervous that Kyle Yeomans is worried about how he plays week to week. So I want to watch a lot more tape of him because what I saw was, oh, wow. And I think what's going to happen is he's going to go pretty high because of that. But there's going to be others that'll see the tape where he's like, not showing up like Kyle Yeomans has said. Yeah. And it it'll make him nervous. So I want to see some of those games like versus teams that are like, we should beat this team. Does he play full on? Because I don't, you can't do that in NFL. All these teams could beat you. Look at that Denver game. So, I do want to see that, but we'll talk about him next week.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you've already done some work on him. I'm excited for that review.
Yeah, I've got safeties. Dallas safety is pretty much cooked right now. The ones that I believe Dallas would try to get. Well, I shouldn't say it because then we could just eliminate everybody in the 1st round. But I honestly believe that this could be the year that they take a Daxton Hill at 24 or a Brisker or a Petrie at 56, I think we're at. So 1st or 2nd round, I really think a safety is possible this year.
Well, Mike, as always, man, I enjoyed the conversation. While we're getting you out of here, remind the people where they can find you on Twitter, sir.
At CD Piglet, guys. Nice and easy.
Guys, I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.